Hey everybody, this is Dave Huber for Tradeway, and I am going live right now to help you know how to protect your assets when you are trading stocks. There are so many different things you can do to protect the capital that you are trading with, and I want to give you some quick points to help you with those things. But what I'm going to do first and foremost is just ask everybody, if you're joining us right now, throw something in the chat box in the comments so I can see that you're joining us. I want to make sure that I give everybody a little bit of time to hop on with me because I've got some really cool points for you. I call it the P's of protection. So I've got four main points that I'll share with you about protecting your assets. I'll have three sub points, or actually I guess they're main points as well, but I'm going to have four things you do and three things you don't do. Okay, so I'm going to help you know how to protect your assets, your trading capital. I'll give everybody just a few more seconds to get on. Let me know where you're watching from. I see that we got people jumping on live with me right now. So just throw it in the comments section so I can see who you are and where you're watching from. I know that when I started trading stocks, sometimes caution just kind of got thrown to the wind, and that bit me in the rear sometimes. And I don't want that to happen to you. So if you have started trading and you have already realized the danger of not protecting your capital, this is for you. If you're brand new to trading and you want to get started on the right foot, this is for you. I want to make sure that you have a fantastic start to your trading in such a way that will allow you to protect your capital while you are trading. All right, so we'll go ahead and get into it. So I have some main points for you to protect your capital when you're trading stocks. And the first one is plan your prices. You want to make sure that you plan your prices. What do I mean by that? Well, you've heard of planning a trade, right? Plan what price you're going to buy the stock at before you ever buy it. Also plan what price you're going to sell it at. This means what price are you going to sell it at when you make a profit? What price do you plan to sell it at if you don't make a profit, meaning it goes against you? What point are you going to say enough is enough and you're going to stop out of your trades? You need to know the actual price points, because if you just say, oh, maybe right around here somewhere, that's not a plan. It's too subjective and you will allow your emotions to take over and it will kill you in your trading. So don't let that happen. So make sure you know what price points you're buying the stock at, what price points you're selling at for profit if the stock goes up in your favor, and what price point you are actually selling at if it goes against you. Where are you going to stop out at? So that's your tip number one, plan your prices. Tip number two, play with percentages. What do I mean? Well, when you are trading stocks, use a percentage of your overall portfolio. Let's take, for example, let's say I have $5,000 in my portfolio, and I want to use 20% to trade with. Okay, so 20% of 5,000 would be $1,000. So I'm going to trade with $1,000. I put $1,000 in my trading account. I begin to buy and sell stocks, and as my investments grow, let's say about a month later, they've gone up $200. All right, so now in my trading account, I sell my stocks and I now have $1,200 in my trading account. But remember, I started with $5,000 and now I have $5,200 total, right? So I want to trade with a percentage. So I don't just take that $200 and say, okay, now let's trade with this too. I could. Now, if your objective was to trade and just snowball and reinvest all your profits so that you can have the potential for massive growth. If your objective is just speculative, massive growth, then sure, maybe you want to reinvest your profits. But what you want to do if you want to take a protection standpoint, if you want to be a little bit more conservative in your trading, what you might want to do is look at it from a percentages standpoint. So I had $5,000. I took $1,000, put it in trades. I made $200. So now I have $5,200 total what I'd do is say, okay, what's 20% of $5,200? That would actually be $1,040. Okay, so what does that mean? That means instead of taking the $200 profit I made and trading with that as well, I put some of that profit into the bank account, into my the rest of my portfolio, and I say, okay, I'm just going to use $40 of my 200 to compound my trading. So I add that to my trading money. Now I'm still trading with 20% of my portfolio. This is a concept often referred to as rebalancing. It allows you to balance your portfolio, and it can protect you when you are trading stocks. If you want to protect your capital, that's a great way to do it. So that's your point number 2. Play with percentages. All right. Point number 1, plan your prices. Point number 2, play with percentages. Point number 3, put in some stop losses. If you want to protect your capital while you are in a trade, have an automatic sell trigger that will help take the emotions out of the trade for you. If you don't know what a stop loss is, we teach all about how to use stop losses in many of our educational opportunities here at Tradeway. So you're going to want to sign up for some of those. You want to get in on some educational opportunities from Tradeway. But let me just tell you what it is. You can learn how to use it later if you don't already know. A stop loss is an automatic sell trigger that when you buy a stock, right, you can go in and put this thing in called a stop loss. I love the name of it because it indicates what it does. It stops your losses. And the way it works is as the stock is moving around, you have an automatic sell trigger underneath it so that if it moves down to a certain price, remember we're going to plan our prices, if it moves down to a certain price, it will automatically sell for you. Now, this will happen whether you are sitting at your computer or not, which is great because if you're a busy person and you're trading on the go, maybe you're off at work or trading, on the road somewhere. Maybe you're busy, right? Maybe you don't have internet connection. Maybe something else happens that makes it where you can't watch your stock. Whatever it is, maybe you're at a family get together or you're witnessing to somebody on Monday Night Visitation. I don't know. Whatever it is that pulls you away from the trading, what's great about a stop loss is that it can trade for you. So you do not have to be at the computer for your protection to be there for you. And I want to share with you just real quick, there are a few different ways you can do a stop loss. This is something that a lot of people like to look at. So I just want to take a moment, share with you how you can do a stop loss. So I'm going to share this, move this out of the way so that you can see my screen. Okay, so let's say I'm looking at this stock, right? While I'm looking at the stock, let's say I buy on the bounce, right? It's something that we teach, but for kicks, I'm just going to make this super simple. I'm going to show you the different ways we use stop losses. Right now, there's one way is just to use a percentage, right? You'd say, okay, I bought the stock for, let's say, $64. That's about where it's at right now. I could say, if it drops 8%, then here's the price point that 8% is. Okay, so you figure out what is 8% of $64, and I will sell when it hits that price point. Okay, so then you would put in an automatic sell trigger, a stop loss, 8% below where the stock is. That will make it so that the most I'm supposed to lose on this should be about 8%. Now, there are some things that can increase that. We won't get into that for now in this live, but using a percentage for your stop loss is a great beginner tool. In fact, 8% is a very common percentage used for beginners when using stop losses. Some people ask why. The reason is most good stocks don't retrace more than 8%. They don't wiggle down more than 8% unless they're in trouble. So 8% is a good rule of thumb if you're brand new to stop losses. Another way to use a stop loss is looking at horizontal price points, important price points. So I might look at this price point right in. Oh, my computer's locking up on me a little bit. Sorry about that. It's being a little slow. Right in here, see this white line represents a horizontal price point, a price point at which the stock tends to turn and go the other direction. I might put a stop loss in just under that so that I know if the stock is going down below it, I don't want to own it anymore because it should be moving up off that. And so that's another way to use a stop loss. Find important price points at which the stock tends to turn. It's a little bit more advanced. It's not quite as easy to do because you do have to be able to identify what those points are, but it's something that is useful, right? So if you want to be a little bit more intricate with your price points with your stop losses, using price points like this is a great way to start getting a little bit more intricate with it. If you really want to take it to another level, some people will even use secondary indicators as a place at which they might consider putting a stop loss. So I see, for instance, these are called exponential moving averages. If you don't know what those are, we teach them in all of our classes. This particular stock seems to be bouncing up off of its blue moving average. That's this little blue line in here. And if I see that it gets down below that moving average, this is just an indicator that you can push a button and it will show on your graph. So I can show these indicators on my graph, and if I think that the stock should not be going down below the blue line because it tends to bounce up off that blue line, I might put in a stop loss just below the blue line. And see, by doing that, I'm probably not as far down as an 8% stop loss. So I'm trying to get a little bit more conservative with my stop losses when I'm doing it. Different ways to do stop losses. We teach quite a few different ways here at Tradeway. But if you're brand new and you've never used a stop loss before, maybe just stick to the 8% rule. It's a good rule of thumb. So those are ways that you can use a stop loss to protect you. So put in stop losses. That's your point number 3. Put in stop losses. Point number 4. Now, guys, this is a big one. In fact, this may be one of the most important ways that you can protect yourself when you are trading. If you want to protect your assets, protect your capital, you want to practice professionally. And what do I mean by that? I mean, treat this like a business. If you are trading stocks, you want to treat it like a business. And in fact, you may want to set it up as a business. What do you mean, Dave? I mean, trading, for example, in an LLC, a limited liability corporation, can provide some protection, not necessarily against losses in your own trades, but it can provide some protection in the form of tax. All right, so tax sheltering. There is actually a way that you can get tax advantages through setting up your trading like a business. I'm not a tax professional, not a tax attorney. I can't teach you how to do that, but I do know some people who can. I can put you in touch with people who can. This is a really important thing. How many of you, if you're listening to me today, feel free to throw some comments into the comment section. I'd love to hear from you. But how many of you have thought of maybe trading with some tax advantages like a business? Maybe that'd be cool, but it sounds too complex, right? Like, ooh, I have to set up like a corporation and stuff. That's so far beyond me. I know that whenever I started, it was like, what? You want me to do what? Like, I'm going to set this up like a business. Like, I have to have a corporate like entity. How does it? I don't even know how any of that works, right? So I was like, I'm not sure I can do that. The good news is you don't have to. You can get help with setting this up and then enjoy the tax advantages that could be afforded to you through entity setup. So it's something that may be very helpful for you. Josh, thanks for hopping on and saying something, joining us live from YouTube. It looks like you've set up with PCS. That's great. Very helpful. Josh, good to know. And by the way, those are the people that would love to help you guys set this up as a business. Here's what I want to do. I want to give you a complimentary webinar. Anyone who's watching this, I want to give you a complimentary webinar with the people who help us set up our stock trading as a business. They can teach you all the advantages, all the disadvantages, all the reasons why you might want to protect yourself through setting up an entity. Some of you say, well, Dave, I'm just starting out. Should I do this when I'm just starting out? Well, there are some big advantages to getting it done earlier rather than later. You might want to at least explore the option, especially if you want to start off on the right foot. So if you really want to protect your capital and you really want to give your assets the best possible protection, you want to make sure that you practice professionally by setting this up like a business. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw it into the comment section. There is a link right now for you to register for that complimentary webinar. You don't want to miss this. Dallas, great question. What are the costs of setting up? That depends on the situation. So that's one of the things that will be covered in this complimentary webinar. Like I said, the webinar is absolutely free for you guys. You want to check it out. It's a good way to learn all the details you're going to need to know of setting up your trading as a business. What's great about PCS is Prime Corporate Services. What's great about these guys is that they are not just tax professionals. They're stock traders. Like, they specifically specialize in helping stock traders set up their trading as a business. That is unique and that is super cool to have. So you're going to join the host, Christy McLeod. She's a good friend of mine, and you've probably seen her on some of our stuff, maybe taken a class or two from her from Tradeway. She works with Tradeway. She's going to help host the event, but it will be led by Tommy Thornburg. He is the president of PCS, Tommy Thornburg. All right, so you want to check out what Tommy has to say to you. Dallas, it's going to be some really good stuff. You're going to learn a lot of stuff from Tommy. He's the president of Prime Corporate Services. They'll introduce you to some fantastic opportunities for trading like a business. So it's absolutely free to register and to attend the class. You don't want to miss the class. I'll put it in the chat box again for you here. Do not miss your opportunity. Do not miss your opportunity to do this complimentary webinar. Check the chat box for the link. All right, so those are 4 things you do. 4 things you do to protect yourself. Not done yet. I'm going to share 3 things you don't do, okay? But 4 things that you do. I'll recap those real quick. Plan your prices. You want to make sure you know what price you're going to buy at, what price you're going to sell at, whether it's for profit or taking a loss with a stop loss, right? Where are you going to stop out at? Know what those price points are. That's a great way to protect your capital while you're trading. Play with percentages. Make sure that you're always using an approximate percentage for your trading. This will adjust your trade size and keep it the proper size as you make money or even as you lose money. So make sure you're constantly readjusting by using the percentage of your portfolio that you want to trade with. Put in some stop losses. Make sure you use those automatic sell triggers that will sell the stock for you when it goes against you. There are different ways that you can use those. We ran over those real quick in this live. And then point number 4, practice professionally. This is a big one. You don't want to miss out on setting your trading up like a business. Gave you a complimentary webinar, which you can get the link right there in the chat box. Go click it. Make sure that you register for the event. All we need is your first, your last name, and your email. That's it. Nothing else. Just put those things in there. Register for the event. It is March 11th. March 11th. So it's coming up pretty soon, and it's at noon. All right. March 11th at noon. That's Central Time. Don't miss the Treat Your Trading as a Business webinar with PCS. You want to check it out. Now, here are the 3 things you don't do. Okay. 3 things you do not want to do. Don't procrastinate. Absolutely don't procrastinate. When it comes to setting up trading like a business, that's one thing. But guys, you're going to learn some other things from PCS. We're coming up on tax season. Have you done your taxes yet? These guys can help in those areas too. They're tax professionals, right? And sometimes we procrastinate, right? We go, I'll get to it eventually. How many of y'all do your taxes on April 15th, right? Like you're submitting at the last possible moment. It's 11:59 p.m. Submit. Don't procrastinate, guys. If you want to protect yourself, get ahead of the curve. Don't procrastinate. Get set up to trade like a business. Guys, they'll help you with other things too. Have you set up a living will, right? Have you set up a living trust for your kids, your grandkids, right? Like those are things we say we'll get to eventually, right? Don't procrastinate. You don't know when eventually is going to come. So go on ahead and get it done now. So don't procrastinate. Don't pay too much. What I love about Prime Corporate Services is that these guys are going to have a conversation with you. They're going to determine what is best for you and how can they save you the most money when setting up your entities for trading, for asset protection in other areas of your life, like living trusts or wills. They are going to make sure that you have all the help you need, and they're going to help you get the most bang for your buck. So don't pay too much. That's the second thing you don't do. Third, guys, this is a big one. Don't pass on help. You do not want to pass up the opportunity for help from some professionals, people who know what to do and how to do it. You have goals. You have things that you want to achieve. A big part of reaching those goals is leveraging where you lack. If you're not a tax professional, and you're like me, I'm not a tax professional. If you don't know how to set up entities to set up your trading so that you can take tax advantages, you need to talk with someone who does. You are leaving money on the table if you don't, right? So check out the link. I'll put it in the chat one more time. Let me put that up there. There it is. Oh, someone beat me to it. Looks like maybe Steph's in the background. Throw it in the chat. It's already up right there in the chat. Check out that link. Register for the Treat Your Trading Like a Business webinar. It's absolutely complimentary. You want to attend this. So there are the three that you don't do. Don't procrastinate. Don't pay too much. And don't pass on help. Guys, it's been lots of fun. That's 7 big points to help you protect your assets in your trading. Don't forget them. We'll see you in the Treat Your Trading Like a Business webinar, and then we'll see you in the market. Thanks, guys. It was lots of fun. See you next time.